Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over this great comeback story that was sent from a subscriber. This is from a guy who, like many of you, went through the marriage from hell and survived to tell the tale. You're going to see in this story, guys, how this guy, like sadly so many guys do, he rushed into marriage with this woman that he barely knew, and to no surprise, he saw her true colors once that ring was on her finger, literally. The second that ring went on her finger, boom, like that, she changed. And went through the marriage from hell amongst all the stereotypical things that can go wrong in a lot of the stories I go over. The cheating, the drama, the bad behavior, all that. And you're going to see this guy, absolutely, he's going to admit where he messed up and he was a typical nice guy, the blue pill guy, the white knight. She would treat him badly and he would just keep treating her better just to show her how good of a husband he was so that she would love him more, which made her treat him worse, etc., etc. But ultimately, you're going to see this guy, eventually events happen, he's pushed too far. Comes to his senses, kicks her to the curb, and now he's doing well, all the wiser, and he's sharing his story for all you guys. So I definitely think you guys will like this, the ones that, because let me tell you, I know there are guys watching this right now, they're in bad marriages or bad relationships, and you may think that or feel that there's no way out. Well, there is always options. There's always a way out. You may not like the options you have at the moment, but there are options, and you can move on and start over, and you're going to be all right. So I thought it'd be a good one to go over here. And definitely a lot of moments you just want to smack the shit out of him for his things he did, his views, but he learned. So it starts off, he says, Hi SSM. I guess we should start off with several smacks. I only knew her for 11 months before getting married. Smack. 11 months? Why? Why? What's the rush? Seriously, bro. I don't care how hot she is. 11 months? You can't possibly get to know someone that well in 11 months. You got to take years before you can consider getting married. You all know this, guys. I got to keep saying this because I get new people all the time. Years, not 11 months. He says here, I got 2 glimpses of who she really was during that time we dated, and I let it slide because I was in love. Smack. Blinded by the love. And we never went all the way while we dated because she wanted to wait until marriage. There you go. That's why he rushed. If you're not hooking up with her, dude, then there's no point of getting serious. That's not a romantic relationship. She's keeping you waiting on purpose because she sees you as that guy, right? I guarantee other guys she liked in life, other boyfriends and all, they didn't rush. They didn't wait, okay? Women will make the nice guys, the guys they can tell are nice guys, wait because it's a way of control and to get what they want, get that ring on their finger. Meanwhile, the bad boys, the guys they really want, they wait 5 seconds to hook up with them. They'll hook up with them in the bathroom, for God's sakes, of a freaking bar or club. Anyway, he says, just FYI, always test drive before you buy. Of course. And famous last words, 99% of the time, she was really great to date, and I thought she had a huge heart. How wrong I was. It was called an act, bro. You should give her a Golden Globe or an Oscar for her performance. How can you be with her for have a romantic relationship and you're not hooking up? Come on here. The 2 times I saw the real Beth, that's her code name, while we dated was once when I was making her lunch. Why were you making her lunch? Are you her butler? She came storming into the kitchen and read me the riot act for no reason. To this day, I have no idea what that was. Probably because you're making lunch for her and she saw you as a little bitch. And she probably wanted to start a bunch of drama and see if you would lay down the law and put her in her place, but you didn't. He says, looking back, it was probably a shit test, which I failed massively. Nice guy to the max. Probably. The second time was in the Sam's Club parking lot the day before the wedding. We just purchased all the stuff for the wedding rehearsal, and she pulled up next to my truck in her car and motioned for me to roll down my window. For context, we've been laughing and having a great time just minutes before. Again, she had a full come undone for no reason that I can figure, except again, probably a shit test. And a nice guy, I was a nice guy again. Smack. Yeah, more shit test. Now, I don't know what it is with Sam's Club parking lots, but that can stir up a lot of drama. But no, she said you were having a great day before, and all of a sudden, boom. Now, either she has she's off her meds, or on too many meds, or obviously it was a shit test to see if you would lay down the law, not take her crap. Nice guys never check women. Let me backtrack there. The only time nice guys check women is when they're completely done. That's it. They check them and that's it. We're done. I'm moving on. We're getting divorced. We're breaking up, whatever. And that's when the women all of a sudden submit and come crawling back and crying and begging for a second chance and start saying, I'll do whatever it takes and I'm so sorry. But that nice guy, he's done. But if that nice guy would check her in the relationships and all that and not put up with her crap, it'd be night and day difference. And of course, the nice guys always put the girl first. Big mistake. Anyway, he says here, the wedding went off without a hitch, and the first 4 hours were really special to me. But when it came time to seal the deal, about 30 seconds in, she froze up and flipped a switch. From that moment on, the real Beth was out, and the girl I dated was long gone. Or shall I say, she no longer hid who she really was. Yeah, the girl you got while you're dating, that was the act. That was the actress. Now you got the real hers out, that you got that ring on her finger. From that night onward, she went out of her way to hurt me emotionally, and she always had this sick smirk on her face when she knew it, and that was getting to me. I was still very much a blue pill and tried for years to make it work. Smack. Self-respect. Guys, I try to do everything I can to help you guys build yourself up on this channel, to be the best men you can be in all areas. And when you're the best you can be, you're not going to tolerate anybody, mistreating you in such a way, let alone this outright abuse. All right? You'll walk away from it and part ways with whomever that may be. But when you're this worn down and you don't think highly of yourself and think this is as good as it's going to get, whether it be romantic relationships, friendships, you name it, you're going to put up with this crap. Can't do that. This is why I'm so this is why I'm so big on self-improvement and being on your grind and bettering yourself. It's not that hard. It says, it turns out the golden rule only works if people both try to live by it. The worse her behavior got, the nicer I tried to be in hopes that she would see how much I cared for her. Smack. Doesn't work that way. They're going to see that as weakness and they'll lose respect for you and then pull more BS just to see if you have the balls to call her on her crap. Okay? Women will never love a dude they don't respect. Now, she obviously is mental. We can all agree at this point. He should run like his butt's on fire. But still, you got to check them. You got to call them on their crap. You can't, if they're mistreating you and being jerks, you don't just treat them better and do nice things just in hopes that they'll see you're such a nice guy that they'll just change their ways. Doesn't work that way. That's crap you see in the movies, guys. Anyway, he says here, in 2016 we had a child, and for a few months after having that child, she seemed to come around to me. Oh man, I can't believe you bred with her. By the 5th month, Beth was back now, and she wanted to be a traveling nurse because she wanted a change of pace. Traveling nurses are notorious for getting a change of sausage every time they go to a different hospital. Multiple sausages. I've done stories on this. Being the nice, supportive husband that I was, I said sure. My career allows me a great deal of flexibility, and 75% of my job is on the phone, so travel is pretty easy for me. So she signed up for a 13-week contract, and off we went. We got a second home, and I cared for our child during the day while she went to work. Every other weekend, I'd go back to keep up appearances at the office and would make calls at the time allowed, typically during nap time. On March 9th, 2017, well, you're getting very specific here with dates. It must have been a very important date that stuck out in your mind. After having a failed S-word experience, Beth contacted her ex on the phone in a fit of rage, blaming him and what he did to her for how her marriage and sex life was. How is this her ex's problem? You blame him for everything. So little I knew about my then wife almost 5 years into a marriage. Turns out her ex, we'll call him CP, was a piece of work. Translation, he was a piece of shit. And by the way, why is she contacting her ex? And why is this guy allowing her to contact her ex unless he found out afterwards? He says, ready for this? Within 24 hours of contacting him, she went from steaming mad at him to now she's leaving everything to live with him 1,000 miles away. Home, friends, career, husband, and a 53-week-old baby. All to live with a guy whom she openly admitted was a terrible human being and treated her like dog crap. He may have treated her like dog crap, but at least he probably stood up to her and didn't take her crap, and that's what she wanted. She's warped, if we can all agree here, but you get my point. A gal would rather have a guy treated her like crap, but actually acted like a man, didn't take any crap, versus some nice guy that just rolled out the red carpet every time she walked by and threw rose petals when she walked on it, like in Coming to America. Okay? You just don't respect that. From March 10th, 2017 onward, her behavior went full throttle. She would discuss openly with me her plans with him. She would smile and laugh at me when she knew it hurt me. I tried over and over to talk her out of it. But at this point, she was into her second contract, so I thought I still had time to fix it. Bro, I know you had a kid with her and everything, so that complicates things greatly, and you're married, but end it. Okay? She's evil. She's horrible to you. You're a good guy. You were weak and you were clueless, but you were a good man. You were doing your darndest to be a good husband and father. And not to mention, this child shouldn't be around this nutcase. Seriously. So many guys have to go through so much pain before they finally make a very important change. Then one night in early May 2017, I took her phone while she was asleep. I never snooped before, and by this point, she wasn't locking it. Probably because she wanted you to see these things and hope that maybe you'd walk away. I read her text string with CP, and within the first minute, I finally had the realization that the marriage was over. You think? It's been over before you were married. They were making fun of me for still trying to save the marriage. This is my first RP moment. I emailed her text string to myself, and the following morning, I told her I was taking our child home, and she could do whatever she wanted. I was done. He says, smack or not, the affair was one thing, but abandonment for me was the final straw. That realization I would not tolerate. See, guys? That's it. She pushed him too far. Now he's done. The sad thing is, I guarantee you that at that moment when he laid down the law with her, it's probably the first time he ever did that, she actually probably started to have respect for him. CP stands for Children's Pastor. He was the head children's pastor at a mega church. Uh-oh. I smell trouble here. They met years before at a Christian college where Beth was a student and CP was a leader of sorts. I called the mega church to let them know what was going on. About all it did was get him to stop contacting Beth. By this point, I was done, but Beth was still the mother of my child. But he never lost his job, and the church just blew it off. Karma will no doubt catch up with CP one day, and that church taught me a lot about religion and what really motivates most pastors. It's pretty sad, but there are so-called men of God, if you will, and I'm not trying to offend anybody here, that are wolves in sheep's clothing and don't care and use that position to get what they want and all that, and of course that usually what they want is ching-ching and power. I'm not saying all, but there are some that are out there. Or ones that don't do awful things, but just are on a power trip. Sadly, I've known some. I took our child and left at the end of May 2017 and headed home. About 10 minutes into the drive, I was looking at a water tower, and then it dawned on me that the pressure in my body was gone. For anyone who ever had anxiety, you know what I mean. It lifted off me right then and there, and it never came back at all. Yeah, because I would say you were born again in that moment. You were born again hard, born again RP'd. You cut her loose. That's probably definitely the first time you ever stood up to her, and probably one of the first major times you stood up for yourself in your life, I'm willing to bet. And you felt that 1,000-pound weight off your shoulders. You were a new man, and there ain't no going back after that. They said that was when I was sure I made the right decision. I was a single dad full-time for the next 7 months. I took her child up to see Beth and her folks several times, and she came down once to see our child. But other than that, I was the sole caretaker. Well, it goes to show how much she cares about her child. She came one time to see the kid. I'm doing everything I could to rush that divorce, sole custody, keep her away from it. Absolutely. I filed for divorce in October 2017. Hallelujah, brother. And Beth moved back in town in January 2018 and got her old job back and rented a house not far from where I live. Oh, I'm sure that's pleasant. Fast forward to now. I've been to court several times, which is an adventure in itself. There's another episode right here for you, or Jerry Springer. I now have primary residential custody thanks to her poor choices, and she pays me child support. Awesome. You should be paid for all the shit you went through, and that's great that you got the full custody. Thank the Lord. She should not have custody of this child, any child. She shouldn't be able to breed. These days, I'm RP for life. Funny part is, I treat her like a stranger these days, and in return, best behavior is about a 180 from it used to be. Her behavior has taught me a great deal about female nature. Imagine that. He's totally indifferent to her, doesn't give her the time of day, stands up to her, and her behavior is a complete 180. Imagine that. What'd I tell you? You check them always on their bad behavior and BS and causing drama and all that, and you put yourself first. And it's night and day. Now, of course, she is mental and awful. We can all agree here on this, the way the guy tells the story here, and shouldn't be with her. And I'm glad it's like he had to go through all that shit to part ways from her, get her out of his, divorce her, she's not out of his life, and become RP'd and gain the knowledge that he has. But it's a lot of hell he had to go through to learn that. But a lot of guys do. This is why I do this channel, guys, so that I can share these stories, so that in hopes that guys don't have to go through all the pain and suffering like this dude and the 1,000 other dudes I've done videos on, that they can then see these problems coming and be prepared and strengthen themselves so they don't have to go through this shit in the first place. But some people gotta learn the hard way. He says, and don't worry, under no circumstances will I ever take her back. She is now remarried to some poor sucker who every now and again gives me a glimpse of the horror show that is my ex. Which goes to show a leopard doesn't change its spots. She found some other nice guy that she can be a whipping post for her. He says here, my career is doing great. Fitness and strength are on point, and I have a friends of benefit who understands the deal. And I now have a 6-year-old child who means the world to me. Was it worth it? Yes. Did it suck? Yes. Would I do it again? Hell no. I says, now time for some sense of humor. The best thing that ever happened to my sex life is divorce. That should be a t-shirt. Lastly, I wanted to write a bit about being RP. I will never marry again. I will never put a woman ahead of myself, my goals, my health, my career ever again. Good, bro. You learned. No woman is worth my freedom, nor are they worth the risk of anxiety, coldness, and drama. For the last few ladies out there who may either read or listen to this, that are not Beth, that kindness and patience I had for Beth, the empathy and willingness to self-sacrifice myself for her, what she took advantage of, used against me, what most of you think is as weakness, that is actually a man's greatest strength. Being RP means I never show that side of myself to a woman because I know the vast majority would not only squander it, but it would eventually use it against me. Sadly, many would. I have far too much to lose and nothing to gain. Yes, I am jaded. I know it's a self-defense mechanism, but the SEX is way better, and all the time. I'm going to stop you right there, bro. I know you got friends with benefits. I know you don't want to get married again. I said this a bazillion times, and I'll say it again. Always wear protection. Always wear protection, dispose that protection, and even when you put that protection on, you got to make sure you provide your own protection. You guys have heard the stories I've done about the guys that discovered holes were poked in their protection, or the gal claims that she's taking the pill and all that. They're like, okay, great, feels better without the condom. And then she gets pregnant. You do not need to repeat the shit you went through, so be careful, my man. The past 5 years post-marriage has shown me that being blue pill is for fools who drink the Kool-Aid. I'm not saying men should be simps, but quite the contrary. I was very much in the wrong in my marriage for not standing up for myself, and I let her behavior get worse and worse without any consequences. Yes. Guys, what I like so much about this guy's story is that he realizes where he went wrong. He looked at his past, and said, here, 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 and here is what I did wrong. And now with this knowledge, because he gained this knowledge, guys, now he can go back and see where he went wrong to make sure he doesn't do it again. And that's awesome. That is not love on my part, even though at the time I thought it was. What I'm saying to you is, if you're a woman hearing this, don't take that kindness and patience for granted. If you find a man capable of it and who is willing to give that to you, don't mistake it for weakness. Instead, cultivate it and encourage him to be better every day. Make his goals your goals and treat him the way you would wish to be treated yourself. Well, that's great you're saying this for the 4% of the female subscribers I have, or the 4% of the women that watch me. But and I gotta tell you, the ones that do watch me, that like me, they already are good gals. Okay, it's just the women that stumble upon my videos that hate my guts. Him saying this, it's gonna go in one ear and out the other. That also means you have to be accountable for your own actions. Do that, and you might have a shot. Anything less, and you're all doomed to fail because you'll never get more out of a relationship than what you put in it. And keep in mind, the man you turn down today is the same man who will turn you down 10 years from now. I hope my story, the very short version, keeps some foolish young man from making a terrible mistake, and my advice reminds a young woman to live by the golden rule and not become a Beth. Believe me when I say you do not want to be in a situation she is in. Choices have consequences. Make enough poor choices and the consequences pile up into a mountain you cannot climb without oxygen bottles and Sherpas to carry your gear. RP for life. Well, bro, I'm so happy to hear things are going great. And keep on your path. Like you said, your career's going well and you're in shape and you're doing the gym. Do all that. And I'm glad you got a great relationship with your kid. You didn't say if it's a boy or a girl. I can't remember. But your child. And be that good father, whether if it's a daughter, you can be a strong, masculine man that she can look up to and look for a guy in the future. Or if you have a son, you can be, again, the strong, masculine man who doesn't take any crap and be a good role model for him in this world. And all these things I talk about, and he'll be great, Just keep your kid away from the mother as much as possible. And for yourself, keep focusing on you. All these lessons you learned the hard way and things you learned on my channel and other channels, put it in your own life. Keep bettering yourself every day. Learn something new. Try to find some small way to better your life, better yourself, and you're just going to be always on the rise. And every day, get better and better. I want that for you. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me just think about this. And, guys, you have a great story like to share. By all means, email it to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. And when I get a chance to cover it, I certainly will if it's a good one. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.